Hello, welcome back. I have another ink review video for you today. This one is called Moss Park Green. It's by Ferris Wheel Press, and they have the most beautiful boxes. They do so well on their packaging, and I really like how these look. These, just having them on display on the shelf, they're so pretty. The boxes and the bottles as well. They even decorate the flaps on the inside. So a lot of attention to detail. And let me get this out of here. Okay, that's how the bottle looks. Very pretty bottles. I'm just going to shake this up real quick. And I think we'll go ahead and use one of the carriages today to hold the bottle so I don't tip it over. I don't see any shimmers in this one, so thankfully I won't need to be shaking it up all the time. Alright, just going to open the bottle. And if you haven't purchased an ink from them before, these caps are really heavy and they sit on the bottles very nicely. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's take a look and see how this one is. And I'll be honest, one of the reasons I bought this green was because I liked the box. I liked the artwork and the colors. It's a little bit unique. I have a lot of green inks from them, but nothing with those colors. And every time I saw the box on their website, I was like, oh, I want that box. So I know it's kind of silly, but sometimes the packaging makes a big difference. And also I did want some different greens. They do have a very good selection of different types of colors, different different shades and different effects of the ink. So anyway, pretty much anything you get from them is going to be beautiful. So I have no doubt that this will be a beautiful ink. Okay, Moss Park Green. This is Ferris Wheel Press. Whoops. I've always had a very good experience with them. And I did notice they've been updating their packaging, so when they ship the inks to you, it looks like they are adding more packing material now, which is really good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this under the fan to dry. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back, and I've got this copy paper. We're going to try that first. And I like to test this on copy paper because sometimes if you're at school or work, you might not have access to your nicer papers, and you just want to know how the ink is going to perform to see if it's worth taking with you to work or school or wherever it is you're going with less good paper. So that's why I do this, to see how it will perform. And hopefully it'll perform better than my handwriting. Okay, so this is how it looks on copy paper so far. Whoops. Let's see, it's a very mossy green, which makes sense for the name. It's kind of a little bit muted, very pretty, and there's not a whole lot of feathering or anything going on yet. Let's set it aside to dry and we'll see how it looks in a couple minutes. And then we're going to test this on HP32 next. HP32 paper is also copy paper, but it's smooth. It has a very nice finish on it, and the ink seems to like pool on the top before it dries a little bit, so sometimes you get to see those really nice special effects that some of the inks have. And it's a good in-between paper, so if maybe you can't get like a fancy paper but you don't want to use the cheap copy paper, this is a good in-between one. Okay, and this is HP32. Yeah. And so far, no issues at all with the ink. It looks like there's no feathering, no problems at all. It does look like this green has different green undertones as well, if that makes sense. There's that mossy green in there and then something else. And as the ink dries, when it goes down wet and when it dries, it seems to almost dry to a different color slightly. And I can see that a little bit in here where the ink is kind of separating out a little, which is really pretty. So we'll let that dry and see how that looks. And then this paper is Tomoe River. So if you haven't used Tomoe River paper before, it's very smooth, again, just like the HP32, but it's a little bit better, and the ink tends to show off its properties much, much better on this paper. So if you want to go for the optimal performance of the ink, then I would stick with something like Tomo River. Alright, this is Tomo River. And I'll draw some lines here. And of course, this is all just my own personal experience. I'm fairly new to fountain pens and fountain pen ink, so all of these opinions I'm giving are literally just opinions from what little work I've done with these inks. So, there we go. I'll go ahead and put the lid on this so I don't dump it over. Okay, there we go. All right. And I saw they did a behind the scenes video of how they package their inks. They have this fancy little wrench that makes it super tight so that it doesn't leak. And I thought, wow, I would love one of those. I could open the bottles easier and close them better, more securely. Yeah, okay. So anyways, this ink is still needing a minute to dry. I could see it pooling, but you could already see the colors kind of separating out. It's really, really pretty. It almost looks like a gold dappled field or something. It's very pretty. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to go check on the swatch. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So now that this is dry, you can kind of see what I'm talking about here, where there's the different shades of green and like, I don't know what that color is. It's almost like a golden hued something. I don't know, but it's very pretty. And when you write with this ink, those different colors show in the shading. It's very pretty. So let's compare the three papers real quick. So you could tell right away, like in this copy paper, the color is very flat. It's just one color. You don't see any dimension or anything. There's really no shading, and there's a tiny bit of feathering. So this would not be a good paper to use if you wanted to see all the qualities of the ink. And then we compare that just to the HP 32, and even just here in like the little swatches, right away you can see there's a massive difference in the color. It almost looks like two different colors. And then you've got this beautiful shading down here. But then, and almost before I move on, there's that golden color I was mentioning before. You can see a tiny bit of it here, just a tiny bit. So you can see how just upgrading the paper just slightly makes a massive difference. But then when you compare it to the Tomo River, you can see that this paper is really superior for this ink. It's got more depth of color, and you can see the different colors and more shading. And it's overall a better paper. You really get to see all the different qualities of the ink on this paper. But if you can't get this paper, the HP 32 is fine. But I wouldn't recommend the copy paper for this unless you like this color and the way that the ink performs. So that's how the ink performs on those papers. And that's why I do this, because without being able to see that comparison, you wouldn't know, and you might use it on copy paper and wonder why the ink looks like not like the pictures. All right, and so here's a swatch, and this is so pretty. So first of all, there's obviously the shading. You can see a little bit in the writing, and right here where the ink is really dark, and then it goes up here to this light at this lighter color. And this green is like a muted, almost a sage green maybe, but it's also got this other color mixed in here. And I don't know what that color is. It's hard for me to kind of tell what it is, but to me it's like a golden, maybe not really a brown, but like a golden color of some kind. It's just so pretty, and this is a super fun green. I'm really glad I got this. Again, this is another one that was really hard to tell from the pictures how it was going to look in person, and this is infinitely better in person than it is in the picture. So I don't even know if the camera is going to do this justice, but this is a really nice green without being like neon bright colors. This is just, a very polite color, but then also it's so much fun and has so much character to it. So I really recommend this one if you're looking for a different green. And if you'd like to see anything else, just leave a comment down below. If I have the ink or if I can get it, then I'll do a video for you. And if you'd like to see more of these videos, if you're enjoying this, just click like and subscribe so you can see more. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.